The Diamondbacks are probably going to take a lot of series this year in games where Burns and Gallen start the games 1 and 2 of the series. They're probably going to do a lot of this to teams going forward this year.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me as usual, my co-host Brian McKeon. Brian.
So it helps to not play the Milwaukee Brewers, right?
Well, no, it doesn't help. It's not helping them in any way, shape, or form. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, we preview the finale of the 3-game set with the Diamondbacks. Let's hope they don't get swept because they're on their way. Giancarlo Stanton is going to use the torpedo bat just like he did last year. And no one noticed. We're going to talk about that in segment 2. But first, Game 2 against the Diamondbacks felt like a typical 2024 when the Yankees were in the weeds kind of game where they can't do anything against the starter. I mean, nothing against the starter. Zach Gallen was unhittable. And then they tease you at the end.
Boy, I got to say first, the signing of Corbin Burns looks terrific on the Diamondbacks' part. To pair him with Zach Gallen is unbelievable 1-2 punch at the top of that rotation. They're going to be a problem all year. You can just tell with the way their lineup is. I mean, this is a good team. I don't think the Yankees should necessarily hang their heads too low on losing 2 games to the Diamondbacks. This is a good baseball team.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's not like they're not the, well,
Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I was going to say White Sox, but the White Sox started off okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, plain and simple, they got dominated. Front end, back end, the team got dominated. Zach Gallen was awesome. 13 strikeouts, 6 and 2/3, which is even more impressive. Judge struck out 3 times. He's been on a hot streak the last 2 games. Hasn't looked so good, but again, he went against top tier pitching in the last 2 games. They didn't see an ace go up against Milwaukee. Freddie Peralta was the best pitcher they faced, and he's not an ace. They have faced 2 aces in the Diamondback series. This is what happens. The Diamondbacks are probably going to take a lot of series this year in games where Burns and Gallen start the games 1 and 2 of the series. They're probably going to do a lot of this to teams going forward this year. I mentioned this to you in the pre-show off-air chat that we have. This was the most typical Yankees Carlos Rodón start that you could ever see. It was 4 runs early, can't really locate, velocity is down, and then most people down for the next 5 innings. That's exactly what it is. That's been the problem with Rodón really his entire Yankee tenure. You look at the last 4 innings, that's the guy they're paying $30 million a year to. That is the guy who gets that salary. I mean, no hits, no runs, no walks, 4 Ks, 53 pitches, efficient. Fastball's velocity was down but located. Rodón did say in the postgame that he's not concerned about the low velocity. He credited it more to the cold weather, trying to get a grip on the ball, which makes a lot of sense. It was chilly out there tonight. But that is the Carlos Rodón they signed, Stacey. To be dominant, locate with the fastball, make the off-speed more effective down in the zone. He was awesome in those last 4 innings of his start. The first 2 innings soured the entire start, though. They did. He couldn't get through them.
As you said, 53 pitches in those last 4 innings, 43 pitches in those first 2 innings. Yeah. So after those first 2 innings, you're thinking, here we go. He's not even going to last 4 if he goes like this. And then he just flipped a switch and he was unhittable. Not as unhittable as Zach Gallen, but unhittable for those last 4 innings. And as you said, and as he said in the postgame, it was cold. It was not a fun night. Maybe it just took him a little longer to warm up. Possibly, so I don't want to chalk this up to it being a typical Rodón start. Let's see how he does in regular weather, because this is not regular weather. You go from where it's almost 80 in the weekend to waking up in the morning and it's 30 degrees and it's windy and it's not, it's like damp and just, it's not a good day. So I know people want to jump on him and say, oh, here we go. It's typical Carlos Rodón. I'm going to give him a pass, as annoyed as I am with the way the first 2 innings went, because, Michael K mentions, oh, Gurriel is like 0 for 21 against the Yankees since 2021. Boom.
Yep. Typical.
Like literally, boom, it's the home run. But other than that, it wasn't just Rodón. Then the bullpen shut down the Diamondbacks as well for the rest of the game. So it was kind of like, just, man, if those 2 innings didn't happen.
Yeah, it feels like this has the potential to be the Yankees season, though. When their bats don't give them something, they're going to lose a lot of games like this where the pitching's going to figure it out and dominate. They're not going to have a lot of starts this year where the starter's going to get shelled by the 3rd inning. Their starters are good enough to give them length. It's just, games like this where you can't afford those early on mistakes. And even if that's why that's the second home run is the bigger part, because the first one you keep it in check. It's a 2-run homer. Okay. But the Yankees wind up coming back later on in the game and it meant really nothing. With the Anthony Volpe home run, make it a 3-run homer to make it 4-3. I do want to mention that. And I do feel like that's worth discussing. You did put in our rundown. Volpe is 4 for 20 on the season, with the 4 hits being 4 home runs. And I do feel like people are going to look at his stats and look at the 4 home runs and I don't know what the RBI count is yet, but I'm sure it's around 10 somewhere, whatever it is. People are going to look at that and it's going to skew their mindset on how Anthony Volpe has been this year. If you're watching his at-bats and you're watching every game, Anthony Volpe has not looked good at the plate. He hasn't. He's got the 4 home runs. If you watch the replay they showed on the Yes Network, on the home run that he hit, the torpedo bat absolutely did help, because he got jammed on that home run and it hit a fatter part of the bat and it gave it an extra few feet, and that extra few feet on a ball that scraped the wall in right field gave him a home run. So the torpedo bat helped in this scenario, but I don't know how you feel, Stacey. Again, it is 5 games, so I'm not freaking out yet, but Volpe has not particularly looked good at the plate, in my opinion. At all.
Yeah. Well, I'm also not gonna hold tonight against him or anyone, because Zach Allen was on tonight.
Yes.
Like he just was, he was unhittable. We'll see how he does, Volpe, going forward. His numbers are reminiscent of Stanton in the playoffs, where nearly all of Stanton, right? Most of Stanton's hits were the home runs. Other than the home runs, he wasn't doing anything. So it's a very similar situation. But I'm not going to hold that performance tonight, or excuse me, Wednesday night against him. I will say this about the Yankees. Back-to-back games with 14 strikeouts as a team. The last time it happened last year, they were 1-1 in those games. This time they were 0-2 in those games. And they've had that happen quite a few times since 2021. They actually had 3 games, I think they said 3 games in 2023 where they struck out 14 times or more as a team, and they actually won all 3 of those games.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It is weird, though, because the analytical models that these teams follow states that that's the best route towards winning. It is striking out. They prefer the strikeout over the ball in play, and I think anybody who's watched baseball for longer than this analytical era has gone on doesn't believe in that, because I'm more of the old school mindset, Stacey, of putting the ball in play can allow anything to happen out there. And I'd rather you make it out grounding out to shortstop at the possibility of the shortstop throwing the ball away or putting the ball in the dirt than giving me a strikeout. But that's not how the analytics people feel. They feel strikeouts create more pitches from the opposing pitcher. They feel strikeouts, the maximum amount of outs you can get on a strikeout is 1 out. There's a lot of math reasons of why they think strikeouts are beneficial, but that's how the analytical dream, honestly, without Rodón giving up those early runs, this is exactly how the Yankees want to win a game. It is. They want to score 3 runs. They want the bullpen to be dominant. They want their starter to be dominant in the last 4 innings of Rodón's start. They want it to be like that, and they want to strike out a lot. And that's how teams build teams. Now you can like it or you can hate it. I'm sure a lot of older baseball fans are going to hate it, and I don't necessarily blame you. But this is how teams try to build their team now. They want the lineup to be strikeout heavy.
You talked about how anything could happen on the bases, and it happened on Tuesday night. That play with Naylor, air mailing the ball to Burns, and then the Yankees ending up scoring 2 runs on that play to break a 2-2 tie and turn it into a 4-2 game. Now, obviously, the Yankees ended up losing because the bullpen blew the game, but anything can happen on the bases. I mean,
Yeah, and
we
a strikeout
we saw it in the World Series with the Yankees and the defense falling apart. Anything can happen, and I kind of understand the whole strikeout thing, but I don't know. I feel like I would rather watch them actually do something, even if
there
it's an
has to be a
out.
middle ground. 14 strikeouts is just too many. You get
Yeah.
27 outs. 14 is just way too many.
Yeah. So the Yankees are looking to not get swept on Thursday night or tonight, and it's a 7:05 start again. This time on Yes. Wednesday night was on Prime. 2 quick things. Anyone else have Prime find it hard to watch on the TV? Because for the last 3 seasons that we've been watching Prime on our TV, there's always a seam down the middle, and there's also like static at the very end of the screen. And we refresh it, it becomes normal, then it goes to commercial, and the seam appears again. It drives us crazy because we can't fix it. We have a Roku TV, and nothing helps. 2, what the hell is with them playing music between every single pitch? When did that start happening? And why am I just noticing it now? Because it was really annoying during Wednesday night's game.
I'll tell you this, it's not any better on the phone too, because I was streaming it for a lot of the game because I was out doing stuff. So I was at an office streaming the game, and it logs you out very often, re-asks for your location settings because they're so afraid of, God forbid, of the blackout restrictions that we're still in the ancient days of using. It asks you a million times for location services. I get why the streaming exists. I understand it. I know it's a cash cow business. I'm not naive of that. I do feel bad for my 80-something-year-old grandmother who likes to watch the Yankees every single night and cannot figure out how to get Prime on, and goes to Yes on Wednesday night and can't find the game. And the game's not on. I do feel bad for those people because baseball does have a very, very, very large senior population that likes to watch the games every night because it's like appointment television. And when they can't find it, it is kind of upsetting.
Yeah. And as I said, I noticed at the stadium, they were literally playing music between every single pitch of the game, whether it was the Diamondbacks pitching or the Yankees pitching. And I don't know when that started. And it wasn't organ music. It was music, like clips of music. It was just constant noise throughout the game. Am I getting that old that it's annoying me now? Or is it something new that's happening? This is rhetorical. If you've been to a game this season or last season, because someone told me on social media that they started doing it last summer, where things were a lot noisier at the stadium. So if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below if you've been to a game in recent months or even this week. Let me know if this, because I just, for some reason, was noticing it during this game. I'm like, what is going on? Why are they playing so much noise? And that makes me not want to go to the stadium because that would just be so irritating. Anyway, okay. I sound like a grumpy old man yelling at clouds, but here we are. All right. Coming up next, Giancarlo Stanton used the torpedo bat. Apparently, did anyone know this? No. And guess what? He's probably going to use it when he comes back. So we're going to talk about that next.
You ever check your bank account and wonder where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, and it gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop making your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan for long-term goals. And managing money is even easier with your partner. It's become smoother than ever. You can track your shared and personal accounts. You can set goals together, and you can stay on the same page without all the stress. Now take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club to get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link's in our description.
YouTube viewers, I was bad this week and forgot to put the pinned comment up. So if you go to, when you look at our channel and it has home, videos, shorts, there's a thing that says posts. Look at the latest post and leave your Fan Mail Friday questions there. This will only be for this week. I apologize.
We'd appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It has been really widely reported and assumed that Giancarlo Stanton's tennis elbow injuries are due to the torpedo bat. Now, it's not confirmed, but it's pretty well assumed that that's the case. And Giancarlo Stanton apparently has no regrets in doing that. This story is kind of weird that came out. They finally spoke to him about it. Stacey, you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so he said he used it last year. Did we notice, like, do we look at people's bats? Like, honestly, do you look at people's, I don't ever really, unless it's like a crazy looking, like Players Weekend, something happening where you notice something different about the bat. But
agreed. I would never notice. I honestly wouldn't have noticed this year. That, like, I didn't notice in the first game they were using the torpedo bats. Right. It really wasn't until the second game Michael K brought it up.
Right. No one knew anything until Michael K brought it up. And then it started
he probably was.
Hullabaloo.
He probably was using it. We just didn't notice.
Yeah. Yeah. He jokingly said about the torpedo bat. He said, it's something that makes a lot of sense, but it's like, why hasn't anyone thought of it in 100 plus years? And it's not like they haven't.
It took an MIT graduated physicist to figure this out. Like, they weren't using that kind of math when it came to baseball 100 years ago.
No, I mean, physics. Like, did you take physics in high school? I didn't, because I
did. I struggled.
I was mightily. A non-Regent student, so I didn't have to take the harder classes, which was so great. So I didn't have to take physics.
So I'll take a little bit of a humble brag right here. Advanced Regents diploma.
Nice.
You're looking at it right here. Didn't mean anything for me career-wise, but I got one. Physics was tough. Physics and trig were two ones that I did not fare well with.
I was good at trig for some reason. I was good at trig. I don't know why.
I'm personally proud of you because I had to have my cousin with a PhD help me out. That tutor me for it. Yeah. That's how much I struggled with trig. But yeah, we didn't have physicists, especially 1920s physicists, if that even existed. I don't think they were studying the size and adjustment of baseball bats. That wasn't on their mind. They existed.
They just that wasn't on their mind.
Well, no. I don't think they existed to the level that they exist now. I think physics is probably a very different field in the 1920s than it is right now.
Right. But it did exist. It was just totally different and, not as advanced, obviously, because think about how things have changed in the last 120 years.
A lot.
Yeah. So Stanton was saying that well, he suggested that the bat adjustments that he made last season could be responsible for the tennis elbow he's experiencing. But he also added that he plans to continue using a torpedo bat when he returns from the injured list. And he said he was an early adopter. It said after weeks of trial and error against simulated high velocity pitching last season, he settled on a model that replicated the weight and length of his 2023 bat, but with the barrel relocated from its traditional position. Again, now I feel like I need to look back at video of him in the playoffs because
it worked.
Did not notice the bat was different.
But it worked. I mean, it did. I mean, you can't argue that. It did work. And, I do kind of get it for a player like this, too, because when this story came out earlier today and I read it, I was thinking about what you said, where does Stanton really need this? Because he's hit, a bowling ball out of the park. And while I agree with you, I also think, how much better does a player with that much strength become if you give him more of a barrel, right? True. Like you're now giving him more barrel, and not going to lie, Stanton's a different player than Judge. They can both hit the ball a mile, but Judge has a really good eye.
Right.
Stanton doesn't. Stanton is a free swinger up there.
I was going to say that. Yep.
If you're giving him more of the barrel and he's making more contact with his strength, he might be able to poke a few more balls over the wall than he normally would. So, right. It takes a lot of thought, and there's a lot of schools of thought when it comes to the torpedo bats. This might have actually helped him, and let's be real, Stacey, he does swear by it. So, listen, we'd feel a lot different if the Yankees won the World Series last year off the back of Giancarlo Stanton. We would. Like, if Stanton missing time right now, we'd feel different. If they were coming off a World Series right now, we would look at the Stanton injury as, all right, whatever. Hope he gets better soon. It's the fact that they lost the World Series. If he comes back in July and hits 20 home runs in the rest of the year, and then it goes off in the postseason, and then it's out the next 2 years after that, we won't care if they win a World Series. So it's one of those things. If the bat works for him, it works for him. I'm not going to really complain that much about it.
So this is what he said about the bat. To explain simply, you try it as long as it's comfortable in your hands. We're a creature of habit, so that's got to feel kind of like a glove or an extension of your hand. So as long as the balance points and all that are good, you've got to mess around with it and play with how big or small you want the barrel. And then he said about his postseason numbers, I don't know what the numbers say, but it's not like it was unreal all of a sudden for me, which is true because he always hits anyway in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs, and we are talking to a guy who had a 59 home run season earlier in his career. Like, so I do get where he's coming from, because the question comes off a little condescending from the reporter. It's like, oh, do you think this contributed to you being a good hitter in the playoffs? And he's like, well, I'm always the power hitter. That's what I do. And he's kind of right. So I got to defend Stanton on this one.
I find what you said earlier interesting about how, he has that. His swing is so different than Judge, right?
Yeah.
When Judge swings and misses, dare I say, it's a little more graceful than Stanton. Like
Stanton is violent.
Yes. It's like Gary Sheffield violent swing, right? And I think the barrel being thicker for him would work with his swing because of the way he sometimes, it's like a tighter swing almost, also like hacking, like he's hacking, like he's chopping a tree down sometimes.
It is, and I feel like generally with how the path baseball's been on in the last 10 years, everything's on launch angle. They don't want you hacking down, they want you going up. Right. The difference is Stanton is so damn strong that it really doesn't matter it doesn't matter where the point of contact is for him. He's so strong and swings so hard that the ball just jolts off his bat no matter what. So it doesn't really matter. Whereas they want to focus on launch angle with Jazz Chisholm and Volpe because those guys aren't jacked out of their minds and they're not hitting the ball 400 feet on contact. So it makes sense. I get it. And, from a simplified point, I do get having Stanton use this bat, giving him more barrel and more of a chance of making contact. Because even Stanton's one of those guys too, where when he puts the ball in play, there are a lot of errors that come off his bat too, because the ball is just hit so damn hard.
It's so hard.
Anything on the ground in the infield, a lot of them get through just because he hits it so hard. So it's an interesting point. It's an interesting case study. I don't know how comfortable I am with him using it when he gets back, but if it leads to home runs, then who cares?
It'll be interesting. I'm actually hoping he comes back. He's okay when he comes back, because I really want to see if it makes a difference.
All eyes will be on his bat, that's for sure.
Yep. All right, coming up, we preview the finale of the series between the Yankees and Diamondbacks next.
When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters, and that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine. It's all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. And if there's anyone who trains close to like Bryce Harper, it's me. We've won 2 MVPs combined out there. And I love the protein powder. I use it every day in the morning with my coffee, and it's led to great results for me as well. I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without all the artificial junk. So whether you're recovering after a workout or you need an energy boost, their grass-fed whey protein is pre-workout. It delivers real results. Visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, you can follow at Just Ingredients on Instagram. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And they come in a variety of awesome flavors like sea and salt pepper, dill pickle, and jalapeno lime, just to name a few. Now, personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for the busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk on a road trip or I just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell option is also a classic favorite. Now, Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein. It provides all 9 essential amino acids. So whether you're running between meetings or you're dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So, Stacey, the Yankees and D-backs will finish off their series later on tonight, actually. At the stadium, Yankees looking to avoid their first sweep of the season, and really a downward feel after you sweep the first series of the season, then get swept in the next series of the season. You were trying to paint those Yankee-Dodger comparisons after the first week of the season, and the Dodgers went on to win another gazillion games after that, and the Yankees have not matched nearly. So it'll be Kelly versus Carrasco. Cookie Carrasco's first start, not first appearance as a Yankee. He did appear, it was the game 2, I believe, right? Yeah, the 20-run game.
Yeah.
He appeared late, looked fine. Now, Carrasco looked really good in spring training. So it's one of those things where, I don't think he was a guarantee or really much of a thought to make the Yankee roster. I think the injuries contributed. And I think, him pitching the way that he pitched in spring training definitely contributed to Carrasco making this roster out of camp. He's going to be an interesting case because at a certain point this season, there's not going to be a spot left for him on the roster either. So I do wonder what's going to be the case for Carrasco. This is an important start for him because I don't know how many starts he's going to have, Stacey.
Right. Because they're aiming for Clark Schmidt to be back by tax day.
April 15th, yeah.
Yeah. So that could mean Carrasco has this start and possibly one more, unless there's a setback with Clark Schmidt, which is entirely possible. I just find it interesting that Merrill Kelly, heading into this game, is 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA. Those were Rodon's numbers.
To a T.
Before heading into Wednesday night's game. It was the exact same thing. 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA. Also, Zach Gallen, heading into the game on Wednesday, was 0-1 with a 9 ERA. He got the 9 ERA because he threw 4 innings, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits with 4 strikeouts and 4 walks. The only thing that wasn't a 4 was that he gave up 1 home run as one of those 4 hits, but everything else was 4s. I looked it up on Baseball Reference because Michael K mentioned it, and I said, that can't be right. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. And I looked it up on Baseball Reference, and yes, 4s all across the board.
Wow, that's weird. Carlos Rodon's stat line moved up to 1-1 with a 3.97 ERA after giving up the earned runs today. So it does move very rapidly this early on in the season. It is wild to watch.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how they look against Kelly, because Kelly, throughout his entire career, is pretty back and forth.
Yeah.
Great start followed by a shaky start. So we'll see if the Yankees can take advantage here. Again, we discussed it earlier, and I think you're being proven. By the way, side note, isn't it weird they're starting the season off with, I believe it's 3. Let me just confirm that it might be 4. No, it's 3.
Yeah, because they're starting the season Detroit off after Pittsburgh.
With 3 National League teams.
Yeah.
I mean, has that ever happened in Yankee history? I can't imagine it has.
I'm trying to remember. They opened up against the Giants in 23, but who'd they play after that? I can't remember.
I don't think it was 3 straight National League series though.
Yeah, I think with this new open schedule that this is going to be more common now, where they're just going to be like, hey, let's pit these AL and NL teams against each other who don't normally play that much and open the season with them.
And we'll preview this game on tomorrow's show, but weird note that I noticed too, the Friday game in Pittsburgh is starting at 4:12. I don't know why Major League Baseball does what it does.
Is it their home opener?
No, the Pirates have played a home game already. I believe so, right? Didn't they get walked off at home? I believe they got walked off at home in the first series of the year. I'm going to confirm right now. No, you're right. It is their home opener, so that's why they're starting at 4 o'clock.
They can't get walked off on the road. They played in
that's very
Miami,
stupid,
and now they're in Tampa, and then they play the Yankees.
Yeah,
I believe
it's late. It's late. I'm not used to the time adjustment for us going on as late as we do now.
Oh yes. By the way, because the season has started, because my editing software is not that great, all episodes will be going up. They'll be posted at 6 a.m.
Yep. So you'll get everything for your morning commute on time. Yep.
Going
every
forward,
single day.
6 a.m. So just wanted to give you that heads up. I probably should have given you that heads up earlier in the week, but I'm giving it to you now. So all versions, audio, YouTube, and anything else is going up at 6 a.m. every morning. And
speaking of, Stacey, we are, I know we mentioned this. I think we mentioned it earlier in the week, but if we didn't, we are in the top 200 in all of sports podcasts listened to. What an honor. What an honor. Pretty amazing. And if you view it from iTunes in the top 200 listened, we are the second most listened to Yankee show. So we really appreciate you guys. Yeah, I did the research. I looked at it earlier today and I was like, wait, seriously? Yep. So very proud. Very proud. We really appreciate you guys that are listening every single day.
Wow. Thanks, everyone. So quickly, 3 storylines to look out for today, Thursday, finale against the Diamondbacks. Will the Yankees get swept? Hopefully not. How will Cookie Carrasco do? Hopefully okay. Just because, if he does okay, maybe the team will do okay. And will Paul Goldschmidt lead off again?
Probably, because it always has. It's just never going to change.
But. Yeah, no, it's not going to change. Oh, I will say this. Was it Yendrys Gomez got called for a pitching violation, and Austin Wells was not happy with the pitch clock, said an expletive because something's wonky with the Yankee Stadium pitch clock. So they're probably going to look into that and fix it. But he said a bad word and it came across on Prime. How dare you, Austin? Don't do that. But I thought it was interesting because I thought he was mad at the ump at first, and then I realized that he was mad and that he was talking to the ump and pointing toward the clock. So I don't know if it's not starting on time, if it's starting too early, something's going on. So we'll see what happens with that. Was that the first pitch, the first violation we saw all season? I think it is.
Yeah, it is. It's the first one we've seen all season.
Yeah.
And they are getting better with it too. So you're not seeing it nearly as much as we did the first year.
Yeah, but also, why are these games so long, even with the pitch clock?
I don't know what's going on this year because the pitch clock is still there, and last year the games were significantly shorter. Yeah. They made such progress on shortening the games, and they're longer than ever now. Yeah, it's why I don't understand.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. What are we? It's a week. It's a week into baseball, and weird things are already happening. We have so much more to go. Much more to go. So, as I said earlier in the show, Fan Mail Friday. Go to YouTube. Go to our actual page. Go to the Locked On Yankees channel. Look for posts, and the latest post is asking you to leave your Fan Mail Friday questions there.
That channel with 8,600 subscribers, by the way.
Yes. Thank you to all 8,600 of you. Thank you to our everydayers. We appreciate you. Thank you to our insiders. I sent you guys a message as well. Get those Fan Mail Friday questions in before the deadline on Thursday night.
We want 10,000. Remember, Ariel said she's getting us a reservation at the Polo Bar when we get 10,000. So
that's right. I forgot about that. So if you didn't watch or listen to the show with Ariel Epstein, watch it. She promised us that we were going to go to a swanky restaurant if we get 10,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yes, she did promise us.
We'll see if that happens. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We will catch you guys tomorrow.